Hey everybody, it's Chris and Tony back for another Tiger Sox review. Today we're going to have a couple of Hoosier beers, and we've got our buddy Guy Medley with us today. He's going to be joining us.
Don't let anybody into these things.
He's neither a Tigers fan nor a Bo Sox fan, but we're going to look past that.
Or an IPA
considering
fan.
he is that's true. He is normally a stout guy, so
Doesn't belong here.
that's actually this is a good comparison. We've got an IPA lover at heart and somebody who doesn't normally dig IPAs. I'm somewhere in the middle, so.
Quite literally.
Huh?
You're so witty.
Today's selection, Hoosier beer, is Liftoff. This is a West Coast style IPA from
Indeed.
is it Daredevil Brewing out of
Daredevil
Speedway, Indiana. This is another one that came from my buddy Chris in Indiana, Mr.
Chris.
Don V6. Be sure to check him out on Instagram, and I think he's even on Twitter too. But yeah, Mr. Don V6.
Chris.
Good pictures up, always coming through with good beers.
Hooks us up.
And always coming through with the canned beers, which I'm a big fan of. So,
Me too.
and I see no reason to continue blah blah blahing. I say we let Tony do his thing and start pouring,
we're
shall
not
we?
going to read any more Daredevil Brewing, eclectic,
Well, see, the thing
aggressively
is,
fun beers.
there's
is
no
not for the timid.
ABV. No, not for the timid. Okay.
No ABV listed on here. We looked high, we looked low. No love.
We did at least find a canned on date.
Here's
It
your,
was February of this
We
year.
always like to show the. I kind of dig the art.
The art is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got to say, some of these cans that have been coming from Indiana have had some really interesting artwork on them. The Ring a Dingle had some interesting artwork on it, as did the Barnyard Yeti. Hold it down, guy. And
Oh, is he still here? Oh, okay. The Wallflower, ladies and gentlemen. It pours pretty cool. Kind of a normal looking head for an IPA.
lots of carbonation.
A tangerine kind of color to it. Sorry to block your head there,
No,
Chris.
no, but by all means, people rather look at the beer than me. I'd rather look at the beer than me.
They're
So we
both
got
attractive, all right? You're,
We've got a
you're,
fairly
you're a
resilient,
handsome man.
thin head on the top there.
We might have to do some pouring
Pouring
between
effect.
glasses here.
Okay.
See, you might think I'm a good pourer. Turns out I'm not. I give way too much in that.
Well, since we know that, is there anything left in the can?
There's a little bit left. In
Okay, then let's put that in the last one, since we know the guy's not that big a IPA fan.
I like IPA. I'm just not as big of it. Not quite dark enough for me.
Here, put some of this seems to be the fuller one. So
We have to share with him. Sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Please
Yeah.
remember
Yeah,
that.
that's fine.
alrighty.
He's like, it's still noon.
I don't know about y'all, but I am getting some serious hops off this.
Oh hell yeah,
Like
Big
Citra
time.
hops. I'm getting
big time.
maybe
hops.
even Chinook, but lots of citrus notes.
Very floral.
Yeah, floral too.
Very
Exactly,
floral and
floral and
citrusy.
citric, and
Almost like a little bit of the acidicness of a
very cloudy. You
Grapefruit.
cannot look through this beer.
no
Even
sediment
through
in
the
this boy.
sunlight, you cannot look through this beer. This is a very hazy beer.
No sediment to be found in this one, unlike
Yeah,
what was it, last week or whatever we did. God, that thing, that floaties big time. Nice smell. Very nice smell. Head's kind of typical of an IPA. It clings to the glass a little bit.
clings to the glass.
Soap
A
suds.
very natural white, slightly off white, but pretty close to white. Resilient, but not overly thick head either.
Smells
What's your
good.
take on it, guy? Uh-huh.
Swirl that baby.
This is the
Can
fuller
one more
one. You
time
take
in case
this
you
one
want to
because
see
this
it.
is the fuller one.
Oh, I don't
Okay.
mind.
You
Trying to
take
get-
the
trying to get
more
drunk.
IPA, indeed.
We don't know the ABV on this thing,
We don't
so
know the ABV on this, so.
we might drink this whole thing and not even feel a twitch in the eye.
But as I've said before in these reviews, and I'll say it again and again, always, always, always better to share a beer than to hoard it. So we
Yeah,
had the opportunity to bring Guy
all you hoarders out
aboard.
there.
Guy who was mentioned in the last review.
Yeah,
as
this is the
stout
guy
friend.
that
This is
we-
the guy, my
Here he
stout,
is.
loving friend Guy.
For all you people that watch this video, and if you fall in love with Guy and you want more
If
Guy,
you want more Guy, you gotta let us know. You gotta comment.
We'll try to
say,
get him up
bring
here.
Guy.
he lives in Needles, California, which is 100 miles to the south of us here in Vegas, and you might get him here a couple times a year. So don't get used to this person.
Exactly, but we have to make time. We have to make use of the time we do. Cheers, fellas.
All right, let's taste this bad boy. Almost malty.
And that's I didn't even notice before that it was a West Coast, but that's what
Yeah.
you can expect from a West Coast IPA. A
Oh,
lot of
that,
times.
it is a West Coast. Yeah, I apologize.
Even though it's from Indiana, it is a West Coast style
West Coast style.
IPA.
Exactly.
So as Tony said, it's malty right off the bat, which does
Yeah.
kind of circumvent some of the bitterness in the. It doesn't have an IBU listed on the can, so we don't know
This
exactly.
is kind of this isn't really what I expected though. It's a great tasting IPA. Do not get me wrong.
Mhm.
It's a very satisfying IPA, but it's not as bitter as I think a West Coast IPA typically is. I always think of bitter IPAs, West Coast IPAs, as being bitterness,
Oh
just
yeah,
big
for
time
sure. Like
bitterness.
Lagunitas is a perfect example.
Exactly.
And those are some bitter ass IPAs.
Yes.
Those boys are happy about that too. Tony and I went to a tasting
they
for
are.
Lagunitas, and they couldn't be more pleased with how bitter it was. In fact, when people were telling them that it was too bitter for drinking, that's when they knew that they had arrived. So you're absolutely right. There's a very strong bitterness usually to a West Coast
Normal,
IPA,
yeah.
but there's that maltiness too, and I think there's a little too much maltiness.
It pulls
offsetting
away.
some of the.
Yeah, it does pull
Yeah.
away. But
It's a good IPA for somebody like me who's not real big into IPA, so it's kind of a little bit more mild. And it's a good.
That's why it's good to have a guy here. I'm forever trying to figure
Yep.
out, even when I don't like a beer, who exactly to send, this beer in direction of like that.
Right.
Like the Bloody Knuckle. We weren't crazy about it,
Right,
but we did
yeah.
decide if your favorite beers are Amber and Bach, then probably that
Right.
would be.
yeah, I think
Variety and
that's a good
effective.
point. I think with IPAs, you're talking about a style of beer that actually has more of an array from like a session all the way up to your triple IPAs and everything in between. So it's definitely a style of beer that is not going to appeal to everybody. It's just, you get the whole rainbow when you get IPAs, just because of how many hops there are, obviously. But
As Tony was mentioning earlier, I'm going to put that up so you can see.
Yeah,
It really
it's
is
sticking to
holding
the-
stick.
got some
It
substance.
really does
cleaning
have legs
bubbles,
on it. Yeah, cleaning bubbles.
busy at work, cleaning our glass.
So the lactose must be strong in this because we've certainly got a lot of legs on the rims of this.
It's not coming across as really any particular one like fruit, because you can always normally single out
Right,
tangerine or
or
single out grapefruit.
Lemon or grape.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not really
exactly.
getting that with this beer.
Yeah,
I'm not getting that one, fruit itself that you can really zero in on. And all right,
thank you.
we'll make fruit.
And the same way with the hops too. Like at first I thought I could smell Citra because I could smell the citrus, but I don't necessarily. I wouldn't
I'm not.
commit to
Yeah.
Citra now. I'm gonna lean towards the Chinook. I do feel like there's probably Chinook in this, and I'm tasting that sort of hay aftertaste you get with Chinook hops.
What would you say as far as mouthfeel? What do you think? We got our.
Yeah.
There we go. We're back.
The low mouthfeel, no spikiness to this at all.
Right.
What do you think, Guy?
I kind of agree.
Not much. The aftertaste kind of disappears kind of quick on this one too, actually.
Yeah.
Which for an IPA is weird because a lot of times, I guess I'm just used to drinking the Imperials and the doubles and the triples.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. The aftertaste on this one for me kind of vanishes kind of quick. But I'm not insulting the beer whatsoever. It's actually very crisp and I think kind of refreshing.
It is a good beer. It's I'd say if you were acquiring a taste for IPAs, this is more intermediate, not
Yeah,
advanced,
that's what Guy
not
was.
beginner. I wouldn't put this as a beginner IPA either, but
No.
yeah, somewhere in intermediate, like Guy, where you've had some IPAs, some are good, some are not so great as you feel, and yeah.
It's pretty clean too. I'd say it's got kind of a clean texture to it.
It does, almost like a Pilsner sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I'd give it, probably like a 7 out of 10 or something if I had to put it on a number scale.
Probably on Untapped, I'll give it like a 3.5 when I go to register it.
Cool.
Okay.
Guys, like, what's on
I
tap?
mean, this isn't going to make you an IPA fan, but is this an IPA that we'll put it this way. You're in a bar in Indiana, and this is on tap.
I drink.
There was no stouts available.
There were no
and this
stouts
is-
available,
Exactly,
yeah.
no stouts available, and that's
Then
on
he
tap.
would leave said bar.
There was stouts. I mean,
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. Yeah, it is conducive to this warm weather. That's
Right.
very true.
I think that's what West Coast IPAs do
Oh,
better
yeah.
than other IPAs is they tend to be a little more refreshing, as opposed to like a triple or an Imperial IPA, which attack you with hops and bitterness. They're not really looking to
And
refresh
strong
you.
alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, but I'd say this is almost similar, almost like a session West Coast IPA because it
Yeah.
seems kind of a somewhat tame as far as the ABV would be.
Yeah. Well,
Overall, though, yeah, the guys at Daredevil, I think, did a pretty good job with this one. Yeah. As my voice changes, I'm sorry. I'm so excited.
instead of entering his second childhood, Tony's entering his second puberty.
Yay! Finally, Mom and Dad must be so proud.
Well, we thank you for watching. We
Yes.
thank you for commenting. We thank you for
Yes.
subscribing.
Comments, please.
Yeah,
Bad, good.
and, if
Insult
you want more
us.
Guy, you gotta tell us.
Yeah.
Bring back Guy.
Yeah, hashtag bring back guy.
If you want to see Periscope videos with Guy in it, I do usually have my phone on me, so when I do run into him, I can Periscope a Guy video.
Yes,
So.
and he is quick to take off his shirt too. So maybe we can, maybe the
Everybody wants to
next,
see that.
maybe we can get a shirtless guy, a drunk guy, a talkative guy. Yeah.
And though we don't have prices for these, one more, as I say before, try and keep it within a budget. One of the ways to keep it in a budget is to have somebody who's willing to trade your beers. And Chris in Indiana, we want to thank you again for this.
Yes, Chris.
And
Comment. I want to see that you see these.
actually, yeah.
Say
by all
something.
means. By all means. All right.
Talk to us, man.
Until next time, we thank you guys for watching.
Bye all.
Later on,
Drink good beer. You forgot to
drink
say
good
it.
beer and don't break the bank doing it.
There you go. Your slogan, man.